Sometimes I wish I was Australian. Well, hey, welcome back to the only live Monday through Friday lacrosse talk show on the planet. You are watching Daily Dive. It is Friday, January 17th, 2025. I am your host, Michael Carvelis, in Guyton, Georgia. Producer Joe is behind the scenes in back-to-back 4-0 Banditland, New York. We are live on 12 on Sports via YouTube, X, and Roku. Subscribe to the 12 on Sports channel on YouTube for other great shows and live sports. On today's awesome show, another edition of Season 3. We're going to talk to Professor Adam Levi, as he breaks down three of the biggest games this weekend. Is an 8-game slate. Poutine Pat, a.k.a. Pat Gregoire, for the betting angles of three of the biggest games this week. And Pick'em. Producer Joe is taking the lead in our Pick'em and Best Bets. I'm not happy. I will try to do well this week. We'll unveil those to you. We want to first let you know before we get started and bring Adam Levi on that we are presented by tickets.12onsports.com. That's tickets.numbers12lettersozsports.com. Get your National Lacrosse League tickets for less by going to that website. They include every sport and, we all like music, all your favorite artists, concerts, among other things. Tickets.12onsports.com. And wouldn't you know, the man, the myth himself, the legend, Adam Levi, a.k.a. Adam Levi, LAX. Welcome back, sir. How you been? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I feel so incredibly energized and excited. 8 games on the schedule, Mike. I mean, I don't know if you have any other plans this weekend, but you should cancel them because the NLL reigns supreme. And I will say to the audience, Mike and I did not intend to match in our outfit colors, but, I guess when you're so in sync, that's just what happens.
To be fair, I wore this shirt because I got you and myself both got a tweet from this guy named Polly Chirp, I believe, on Twitter. Yep. And I quoted and got way more traction than I thought I would, just echoing what he said. So it was about Long Island. So I thought it was appropriate, and you thought it was too. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, Polly, he does more than want a cracker. He wants lacrosse out on Long Island. That is for sure.
I want lacrosse everywhere. Okay. Yeah. Alrighty. So there are 8 games, as I mentioned before. You are Professor Adam, owner and operator of Lacrosse Matrix Podcast. What's the latest on that, sir?
2 great episodes out this week. Logan Schuss on the podcast. Yes. Free agent Logan Schuss. A couple of little audio issues in that episode, but great catching up with Logan. If a team wants a veteran forward and thinks that he can be helpful, he's available and ready to go. And then an incredible episode with head coach of the Colorado Mammoth, Pat Coyle, out yesterday. One of the great conversations I've had in all of my time doing the Lacrosse Matrix podcast. It's one you won't want to miss. Incredible openness and honesty and transparency from Coach Coyle. So go check those episodes out on Spotify and on Lacrosse Culture Daily as part of the Lacrosse Culture Daily podcast network.
Gotta get my LCD real quick. So, by the way, I have a new challenge I just thought of. I'm going to start doing for you every week.
I love it.
It's just like a fun little thing. I want, and producer doesn't even know this, by the way. Okay. I want one of your next guests to be Elijah Gash. I feel like that'd be really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that as a numbers-based podcast, there's got to be enough reason for my guests to come on. So, for example, for Logan, his featured numbers were his career numbers with Vancouver, some of the top 10, top 5 best in Vancouver history. And then for Pat Coyle, he had just surpassed Chris Hall for the 9th most coaching wins in NLL history.
That's true.
You got to be able to be nearing key milestones or have hit them recently to be a guest on the pod.
What about getting as many likes as anyone else ever has in social media history?
Look, I love that you put your salesman hat on and you're making them.
I'm terrible.
I'm sure as his career continues, he will find ways to get on the podcast.
Has Preston made his picks this week? Making sure
he has. He did this morning. He's excited. As Evan Schemenauer pointed out, if you were to go with Preston's picks, you'd win a pretty decent parlay He went with some interesting choices. I won't reveal who they are, so go check that out on my Twitter, Adam Levi LAX, to go find out who Preston picked. And if you haven't made your picks yet, go on to Office Pool Junkie, search Preston's picks, and make those picks. I know you and Daddy producer Joe have not made your picks yet, so calling you guys out to get those in before 5 p.m.
Well, after last week, I'm pissed off. Anyways, okay, let's get into the games now. People are waiting and they're wondering. All right, tonight, Vancouver, Ottawa, Black Bears and Warriors. Listen, got a good one here to improve. Well, one team's got an improved defense. One team rests its laurels on defense. How are you feeling about the Warriors and the Black Bears tonight?
Oh, it's going to be a great game, and it's one of those games where it's either I feel going to be a defensive battle through and through. You got two goalies who are totally locked in right now. Zach Higgins looking in top form, as well as Aiden Walsh, who isn't getting talked about enough. This guy, second best goals against average in the league at 9 a game. Really playing so well, playing beyond his years, really embracing that starting role. And boy, does that add a wrinkle into, well, if you're going to bring in Christian Del Bianco at some point, is Aiden Walsh the guy that you give up? Does he become Christian's backup? There have been so many different unfolding pieces of this potential future trade that we all know will happen at some point. But Aiden is now making it complicated. Very interesting reaction, Mike, that you think that there is a way it doesn't happen.
Well, I mean, at this point, Aiden Walsh is saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and we'll see as the season unfolds. Also, both teams, I think, playing well enough that shaking things up at this point doesn't make a lot of sense. But it's going to be a great game, Vancouver and Ottawa. Jeff Teat, really want to see him break out and have a huge game. Can he really have a masterful performance against Aiden Walsh? It'll be very interesting.
Question: do we know if Eric Fennell's the one that got traded to Ottawa, right?
Yeah, he is.
Do we know about his playing status yet, or I'm just wondering if we have heard or haven't, do you expect him to contribute to Ottawa? How soon, or something like that?
I would think that he would be fitting into the lineup. I think based on the recent transaction moves that they've made, they also did just put Brady Kiernan, who is another lefty on that side, onto the practice roster. So they have made moves to open things up for Fennell. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits in. Excited to see if Larson's Sundown can have another back-to-back great performances. Had 3 goals, 3 assists last game, and some really very excellent goals. I mean, I am a huge fan of Sundown's game. Very excited to see him play. It's gonna be an awesome battle. Vancouver, and also I'll give you a little bit of history, Mike. These teams have never played against each other in these kind of iterations of their teams, meaning the Black Bears and the Vancouver Warriors stealth. However, as I pointed out in my Lacrosse Culture Daily by the Numbers article this week, the cities of Vancouver and Ottawa have played together against each other 4 times in NLL history. This was back when it was the Vancouver Ravens, a different organization in Vancouver, and the Ottawa Rebel were playing each other in the very early 2000s. And the only time that Vancouver franchise won was actually the very first game that the Vancouver Ravens ever played back in November 18th, 2001, I believe.
I was maybe in kindergarten, maybe not, and you were probably in middle school.
Was I? 2001. I was in 4th grade.
Woo!
Yeah.
You were pulling in everybody that you wanted. All right. Let's get now to Philadelphia and Buffalo. That's a lie. I'm looking at the wrong page here. Colorado Albany. Mammoth Firewolves, a rematch. And by the way, I mentioned it on LFG. This game got a little bit testy at the end last week. And it would be because obviously Albany blew another 5-goal lead. What are you expecting in this one, sir?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting. Albany missing Callum Crawford, which is
Oh,
really unfortunate. So sad to see that he's on the IR. I heard
yep.
that he's just got something a little bit tweaked, and so he's, you know, they're just trying to be a little bit cautious at the moment, which makes sense. They bring in him as a very important veteran new piece
Yeah.
to that young club, but also missing Colton Watkinson again, still on the injured reserve. That happened earlier this week. You've got some younger guys,
Enforcer.
Moyer coming in. They've really got to shake things up. I mean, Colorado pulled off a Colorado-esque win last week.
Wow.
But yeah, if you want to hear a lot more about this game from the Colorado perspective, again, go check out that latest episode of the Matrix podcast, because Pat Coyle gave a lot of insight as to how his team is doing, particularly in comparison to last season, which he explained as one of the most difficult challenges of his coaching career.
Is that your cat?
Yeah, we actually do have two cats.
I didn't know you had a cat. I'm a cat guy, and I just feel. I know it's completely unrelated. I just feel bad now.
They the cats are two older kids. They both in their living situations right now can't have pets, and so we're looking after them until that changes. I'm not a big cat guy. No offense.
Oh.
They can hear me. They can take it. They're tough. But you know, clearly this cat has some issues right now. Lots of meow.
Feed me, you bastard. Who do you think's going to win this game, Adam? I mean, I keep saying it. Albany's got to be at least a little good to have 5-goal leads, correct?
They do. Look, they are the team that they were last year, at least when it comes to their roster. I mean, they're great.
Yeah.
Like Alex Simmons is Alex Simmons. He's phenomenal. And he's had some really good games. And Ty Kurtz is playing excellently as well. Ethan Walker.
Finally, yep.
Doug Jamieson has, I would say that the thing with Doug is that he was so good last year. It's like, okay, he's had more lapses this season, so we're like, oh my god, like now he's not Doug Jamieson. No, he's just not the like grade A, like best goaltender in the league, Doug Jamieson, that he was last year. However, I do think Colorado wins this one. I have said, I believe, in the earliest episodes of this show for this season, was saying that Saskatchewan and Colorado were the two teams that I think were going to be impressive. And Colorado and Saskatchewan are proving me right. So I'm going to keep rolling the Colorado Mammoth train and pick them to win. I do think it's going to be a great game, and I'm very excited to be going up to Albany. Mitch Belisle, who I believe is a friend of Mitch Belisle.
Oh, you said like, oh, hold on, you got tongue tied with the B there, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's Mitch Belisle, not the other way. And he's going to be on the call for that game. Very excited to see him. Great guy. What he does for Trilogy Lacrosse with Ron Boyle is fantastic for growing the youth game. So it's going to be good. I'm excited, and I'm hoping for a great game.
And that you're going to 2 games. What was the second game?
Second game I'm going to is the Monday night Philadelphia game against the Vancouver Warriors. I get to see some of those Vancouver Warriors guys. I spoke to Aiden Walsh actually earlier this week, and he talked about the incredible work that he's been doing with goalie coach Tyler Richards, who was a great goalie in his own right during his playing career and now is stepping into a great role. Kurt Malosky, great to see him. One of my all-time favorite guys in the National Lacrosse League, and I know that sentiment is across the league from players and other coaches, the respect that they have for him. So it's gonna be a great game, and only the third regular season Monday night game in NLL history. So we don't get a lot of those, and first one ever on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So another little piece of history.
Awesome! I believe their Wings are wearing their alternate jerseys. I believe in that game too.
And they'll be looking to go 2-0 after they beat Buffalo on Saturday. Am I right, Mike? All right.
Sure, I'll say that.
Yeah, I think that Buffalo-Philadelphia game is going to be great. And look, if Philadelphia beats Buffalo and they beat Vancouver in the same weekend with a really weird schedule, then look out, because Philadelphia they mean business.
Coming, and you can say it.
It's So yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm really excited for that game. I'm going to have to watch it back because it's the same time as the Albany game, but it'll be a great way to get ready to go to bed.
Love it. Seals, doggies. This is a big one because the Seals last year in Las Vegas. So is it possible Dogs can do it again? What are you expecting? What are you hearing on the storylines of this game?
Yeah, I mean, look, we saw in Albany, Las Vegas, really kind of find a little bit of a groove and get that win. Jonathan Donville popped off for that one. Jackson Webster, who is not on the active roster at the moment, was a big piece of that game. But now you have, it looks like Marshall King, who's been put on the active roster. I actually have an article that just got published on Inside Lacrosse on Marshall King's excitement and eagerness to return to the floor. So go check that out on Inside Lacrosse. Marshall has had a series of injuries. He had most recently recovered from a broken hand that was caused by a Steve Priolo slash to the hand in the man.
Oh!
Nothing malicious. I know that there was a lot of drama in that series. It just, one of those unfortunate breaks, and he's happy to get back, and he wants to be a big contributor. Obviously, you got Drew Belgrave, the trade that happened between these two clubs coming on to the defensive side of the ball. So there's going to be some interesting tweaks for Las Vegas, and important for them to keep this ball rolling, because when you get a big win and things start to happen in a positive way and look like they're getting better, you want to not fall in another hole where you're losing 3, 4, 5 games in a row, because then your season, especially at this point, it's over. And I didn't get to speak to Coach Sean Williams about this game yet, but it was kind of, I had asked Coach Mike Hazen of the Rochester Nighthawks if their game was kind of a must-win game early on in the season, and he, didn't put an exclamation mark on that question, but he didn't cancel it out and said that, look, if they were to fall to 2-6, it'd be a problem. It's the same for the Las Vegas Desert Dogs. If you fall to 1-6, good luck getting out of that and making the playoffs.
Exactly. Mathematically, no, but the math is haunting you at that point.
Very much. And with this league, and we've seen it with the competitiveness, with one less team, with those rosters being even more stacked, for you to dig out of a hole like that is close to impossible.
Yeah. Well, Adam, we appreciate you. Go feed the cat, and of course, more importantly, Preston. But thank you for all that you do for us. And we hope you have a fun weekend and a safe and healthy weekend, sir.
It's going to be amazing. I'm really excited to get back on the road. I believe these will be my 5th and 6th games of the season. So really excited to get back on the road for that one. But yeah, Mike, always happy to join, and it's going to be a great weekend of lacrosse.
Awesome. Go Riptide, Adam.
You know it.
Adam Levi, everybody. He is awesome. Adam Levi LAX on Twitter /X and Adam_Levy_LAX on Instagram. Alrighty, folks, when we come back, Betting Angles with Pat Gregoire. Don't go anywhere. I know you won't.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pods Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water. Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Honey, it's Friday, which means betting angles with Pat Gregoire. Patty, we have 8 games, dude.
It's a loaded slate this week, man. It's a loaded slate. We got Friday night lacrosse, so that's why I'm here in Ottawa. We got a ton of games on Saturday, and we've got the rare Monday nighter, which I'm looking forward to. We can talk about that in a little bit, but no shortage of betting angles this week, that's for sure.
Love it. How was your trip, and how was the shoot around this morning, sir?
Trip was great, super easy. The little 45-minute flight from Toronto to Ottawa. Morning shoot around was great. Both teams look really dialed, focused in. I think they both realize how big of a game it is for both sides. Talking to a lot of the guys, they realize a lot of respect between the two, but a unique situation. Obviously, Vancouver goes from Friday here in Ottawa. They thought they were playing a Sunday, which was one day. Now it's a 2-day layover in between. They're still going to carry on with their travels like they anticipated. So they were going to fly out, stay in Philly for a couple of nights, rest, recover. But the other aspect to this as well is they play again next week. So really building up that all-Canadian rivalry is something that we're excited to do as a broadcast team. But I know these two teams, obviously, it's a short turnaround. They'll get back after it once again.
No big deal. Love it, sir. And thank you for your insight on the game. You'll be on the call with Teddy and Ashley again.
Ashley will not be with us. It's Brianne Foley, who was doing the finals with us last year. So she's making her season debut. Ashley's down in Florida. Doing some flag football, actually. So getting ready for the Olympics. That's a discussion for another day, though.
You're tuned in to Poutine Pat Gregoire, Coolback Canada Country Manager, OTCB podcast. Was there any OTCB this week?
Unfortunately not. I got the doubleheader this week. After I head from Ottawa here, I'm heading right to Halifax tomorrow morning for that Rochester Halifax rematch. So preparing for 2 games, the travel for Teddy, travel for myself. No pod this week, but we'll be back next week. Don't worry.
I'm counting on it. All righty, let's get into it. Betting angles times. And most of these odds I will give the folks is going to be according to DraftKings Sportsbook. Pat, you can dabble in your cool bet, as I'm sure you will. Tonight, Vancouver, Ottawa. The game you're doing, the game you're most in tune to probably right now. I'm on DraftKings, for those wondering. It is Ottawa minus 1.5. Vancouver's money line is plus 105, so not a huge deal. And the total's at 21.5 again on DraftKings. What you got? How you feeling?
It's a really, really low total for me, but I'm kind of leaning under here. I don't really have a lean on the side. I think it's going to be a close game. If you can get a decent number at plus 1.5 for the Warriors, I'd go for it, but I don't think you're going to be laying a lot of juice down there. The plus 105, I think it's plus 100 right now. A cool bet, maybe worth a sprinkle, but for me, I just think these two teams match up really well against each other. Two really good defensive teams and 2 goalies that are playing at the top of the league. Aiden Walsh, second in goals against average, second in save percentage, and you look at Higgins, he's in the top 4 in both of those as well. So when you look at the goaltending, you look at the defenses, and Ty Merrill of Ty Merrill Lax actually put out a great article this week talking about all the teams now playing at least 4 games. So we have a big enough sample size to really dig our teeth in and see where these teams are. For as good as Vancouver is playing, for how well we saw that fourth quarter comeback from Keegan Ball. By efficiency rating, they are the lowest scoring 5-on-5 offense in the NLL. They're very opportunistic. They score well on the power play. They're getting a lot of transition from guys like Owen Grant and Reed Bowering. They are very opportunistic. They play in these low-scoring, grinded-out games. Not saying that their offense doesn't have the capabilities, but they're just not a high-flying, powered offense. They want to play in those low-scoring games. Where you look at Ottawa, they've proven they can play in the high-scoring games. They can muck it up. They can grind it out. So that's why I'm going with the under on this one, Mike.
I love that because Keegan Ball scored a sock trick in the fourth quarter, and guess what? It amounted to a grand total of 20 points. I love it. I love
There
that.
you go. There you go. It's scary betting a low total with guys like Jeff Teat and Keegan Ball on the offense. But when you talk about these two clubs, we got to start talking about how good they are defensively, not just about the offensive firepowers that they have.
I love it, especially for the Black Bears, because we already knew Kurt Malosky. That was his ML.
Of
All
course.
right, Wings, Bandits, and I dubbed this one in my LFG as Wings power play versus Bandits defense. It's unstoppable force versus immovable object. I finally got that term right, by the way. How you feeling? I think this totals at 25.5 on some spots. Yes, well, let me lie. It's right here. 24.5 on DraftKings. Bandits favored by 2.5. Plus 220 for the Wings money line. Interesting. What you got?
I'm taking the over. When you look at these two offenses, it's just, I talked about it last week. We had a push, depending on where you got your number at Coolbet. I know it was a push on that Philly-Calgary game.
Yep.
I get it. That penalty kill is deadly, and the Wings on the power play, it's a matchup that I'm really looking forward to seeing. Matt Vince, you probably have a bounce back game from him. Not that he was terrible, but it just, was a ho-hum performance. I thought Toronto did a really good job of taking the opportunities where they came. But this Bandits offense, seeing them up close and personal last week, now seeing them twice, they're absolutely 100% dialed in. I think they are going to really be able to pick apart that Philly defense. And I have a lot of faith in Philly offensively, especially when it comes to the man advantage. They're starting to get some more transition scoring as well. Joe Resetarits, Buffalo Joe, going to be playing in front of a lot of fans, friends and family, I should say. So I think this one's going to be a high scoring matchup down in Bandit land. I'll take the over. I'll also take Bandits to cover the spread as well.
I'm leaning that way as well. As you guys will see my best bets. I just think Bandits are too physical right now. As much as I love the Wings offense, I don't know if they can. I think the Bandits are going to wear them down. So I love the leaning on the spread as well. And by the way, I forgot to mention Grant Call last week against Toronto. May have made a few rounds on social media. I know Teddy's call was electric. I bet you that was like, no, Teddy was great on the knockout, but whatever.
Yeah, good call. Good call on Teddy Rogan. Teddy Jenner. Yeah, really
That's
good
right.
call on the knockout.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Seals at the Doggies. If Josiah, I hate doing this, does not pay off the Seals this time, we might get a Seals cover. Regardless of that fact, it's not a fact. Seals are favored by 2.5 on DraftKings. Totals at 22.5, and Dogs money line is plus 200. I don't know how it is on Coolbet, but any leans on this game, any plays?
You said it, and I'm not grabbing my tinfoil hat and saying Josiah pays this off in the Josiah Bowl to keep it interesting. But the fact of the matter is the Desert Dogs play well against San Diego. I don't know if it's that they feel like they feel like they're slighted and their little brother in the big brother rivalry. I don't know what exactly it is, or if Sean Williams, with his experience in junior, he coached against a guy like Chris O'Reilly. Maybe he's got a great scout on him. Maybe he just, I don't know exactly what the secret sauce is, but Sean Williams has it when it comes to playing this San Diego team. And, San Diego, I like them. I like the way that their defense is constructed. I think Chris O'Reilly is no doubt he's a cornerstone goaltender, a franchise goaltender. The offense still is just leaving a little bit to be desired for me, to be quite honest. They look great at some points. They completely went cold against Vancouver in that second half and in the fourth quarter. I know they go out and get Dylan Watson. This is also maybe a revenge game spot for Dylan Watson. He needed a change of scenery. It wasn't working from him. They get Jackson into that lineup, and I thought Jackson Webster played really well and kind of beat him out for that job. So I'm going to take the Dogs to cover here. It's crazy to do this because when you look at San Diego, I know they're 3-3, but you look at the betting boards on most books, they're anywhere between the second or third shortest odds to win a championship. For me, Seals probably win this game, but I think they keep it within 1 or 2 goals, and we see a much, much better effort from the Desert Dogs. They're at home. And we also get Marshall King back into this lineup, which I think is going to be a big offensive boost. I know you're high on Potro, as you should be. The guy's an absolute stud. He's going to be a special player for a long time. But I think just whatever the matchup is, for whatever reason, Sean Williams knows how to get these guys going in this big matchup, this rivalry. So I think we see it again. They fall short, but they cover the number. That's all we're asking for. That's all we're asking for.
Patra's a desert dog. Jack Hanna's a human highlight reel. And by the way, last year combined score of this game, 10-8 at Las Vegas, 10-9 for the Seals in San Diego. So it was kind of muck it up last year.
Okay, so are we leaning an under then, Mike? Is that what the play is? The way that the Desert Dogs have been defending and the way that there's been a little bit of, struggling to get those timely saves, I'd be a little bit scared to take the under. But we know San Diego is a really good defensive team, and the offense again hasn't really shown that they're an over team at this point. Just looking at the all-time record against the Seals, they are 4-1 against the Desert Dogs, so they do come out on top. But majority of those games have been real close.
Besides the 14-4, it's been close.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. The 14-4 game was definitely one to forget. But besides that, they played them really close. So that's why I'm going to take them to cover.
All righty. So because this is the betting Eagles part of the show, and because Pat is here, and we've got a game on Monday. Is Pat good? Hello, Frog.
You good?
Yeah. Okay. So Vancouver Philly it was a doubleheader regardless, but now it's on Monday instead of Sunday. I'm interested to see the attendance of this game, but as we know, there's no line for this game yet. What is your advice to people who have, let's say, regardless of what the line is, what is your advice to people on back-to-back games when betting?
First and foremost, this is a unique situation. We see a lot of back-to-back games, but we don't see a very rare back-to-back where both teams are playing in the same weekend. So the advantage or disadvantage, there's a lot of talk. Some say that, these guys are going to be tired. They're going to be switching up their lineup to get different guys in. Whereas depending on some other people who you think, and I kind of lean this way, I kind of like the team off the back-to-back. This is a league where you're limited practices. It's on the weekend. I think sometimes, especially an offensive player, gets into a bit of a groove, especially now that they'll have a couple of days to rest, recovery, and clean up any of those bumps and bruises. I think we will probably see both teams trickle in different lineups depending on what their results are. So I would say normally, if it's a back-to-back, bet the team that's on the back-to-back. Unfortunately, both these teams are on the back-to-back. I think my early lean was Vancouver to win. And unfortunately, based on my picks, it would be Philly picking up 2 losses in 1 week. But now the fact that it's moved to Monday, I think the advantage kind of goes to those Philly guys. They're going to fly home, or not even fly home. A lot of the guys probably will drive from Buffalo, or there'll be a bus or whatever it may be. They're going to be able to go home. They're going to be able to rest. They're going to be able to relax. These Vancouver guys are going to be in a hotel room for the next couple of days. Some guys are actually flying home and then coming back from what I'm hearing. So I think it's just going to be a little bit too much to overcome. So if you had a lean, I initially it was Vancouver. Now I'm kind of leaning Philly. Here's what I say. Wait to see what happens with Philly and Buffalo. Wait to see what happens tonight with Ottawa. And when those lines are posted, take a deep, long breath, stay cool, bet responsibly, and just enjoy the Monday night lacrosse. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I said two different leans, so I didn't really give anyone advice, but this is kind of just how my mind works when it comes to going through all the different situations. From a book perspective, the reason why there aren't lines is because both teams are on that back-to-back. If Philly was not playing until Monday or Sunday, we probably would see that go up. It would post an early line. They would post that early line, and then as soon as that game happens, they'll probably remove it, take it off the board, wait to see if there's any injuries, see what the result is, see the outcome, and then they would repost the lines, adjust based off what they saw. So that's a little bit of the behind the scenes aspect of how odds makers normally would create and adjust odds based on back-to-backs.
I like that. Real quick bonus question.
Okay, let's see it.
Tell me which game Brandon O'Neill scores more points in, at Buffalo or versus Vancouver.
The hot take, but I'm going to say it's Buffalo. I'm going to say
you think he
Buffalo.
scores more points against Buffalo? Okay, I like that.
Please
let it be in Buffalo.
Crazy take, but this is a guy that anytime the stakes are higher, the brights are shining the brightest, he comes up in big moments. I think he is going to love playing the villain role. I also think the way where he can shoot the ball from different areas on the floor with like a blink of an eye, he's going to get down the alley, whereas that's what normally Matt Vince and that defense wants to see, but he's such an unbelievable shooter. I actually think it's going to play into his hand. It's crazy to say, and it could be an all-time old takes exposed, and he puts up a goose egg, and Matt Vince puts him in a locker. Just for me, I think the matchup blends better for Buffalo in that environment, whereas most rookies would crumble under the pressure. Not Brendan O'Neill, man. He's special. He's built different.
Fantastic. By the way, speaking of Pick'em, me and you get a handshake emoji on being the little brother to our podcast enemy, our foes. So, Joe and Teddy are just eating all kind of good food this week. It's unbelievable.
There is a lot of lacrosse left. There is a ton of lacrosse left. As my friend Nick Ocello says, there's a lot of lacrosse left. But Teddy might be doing better in Pick'em. When it comes to our picks for betting on OTCB, I'm the one who's bringing in the money on the parlay. So
I was wondering what the hell that was, and now I know. I'm so pissed off. The Wyoming Fig. Give me a break. All right, Pat, get out of here and go watch your Bills and Ravens game.
Go Bills, go Josh Allen.
Boo!
Tune into lacrosse this weekend.
True.
Don't go anywhere. Daily Dive will be right back.
You need tickets to that next event? We've got them. That's right, tickets.12ozsports.com. Get you to any sporting event, concert, theater event that you can think of. And the promo code 12OZ or ROME get you an additional discount. Don't feed the massive ticket corporate machine. Go to tickets.12ozsports.com and enjoy the show. America, get back on track with Dust Pod's Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water, Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
What up, everybody? It's producer Joe, the baddest daddy in producing history, here to tell you all about the baddest, daddiest merch store. Go to the link tree in the bios of either our IG or Twitter, and from there you can access merch for the only Monday through Friday live lacrosse talk show on the internet. I repeat, the only Monday through Friday live lacrosse talk show on the internet. We got hoodies for when your girl comes over and wants to cuddle. Just don't let her take it when she leaves. How about a baddest daddy cap for when you lie about how much you hate Mike in this show, but you're still here? We've got beanies so you can do that in the cold too. Guys, what's going to happen when all these moms see you dropping your kid off at practice in this thing? Want to sip like a daddy and feel like a baddie? Check out that mug. 6-time NLL champ Johnny T and savior of my Buffalo sports childhood knows what I'm talking about. Guys, I'm really going to need you to start buying shit because I'm getting sick of doing Instacart. But yeah, go check it out so you can start repping and supporting the brand. Producer Daddy out.
Daily Dive is back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's brackin'? I'm so bad. Welcome back to Daily Dive. When today's awesome show ends and you are getting your tickets for the next game, buy your NLL tickets for less at tickets.12ouncesports.com. That's tickets.numbers12lettersozsports.com. You will not regret seeing things live, knowing you got your tickets for a great price. Also, be sure to check out the audio-only podcast version of this show on Spotify. Just search Daily Dive. Alrighty, it is now time to get into our picks and best bets for this weekend with our Pick'em segments. Producer Joe took the lead last week. I'm not happy. I went 2-5 or something like that. He went 5-2. Unbelievable. I don't know why it won't let me zoom in, but anyways, we are different on 4 games this weekend. We are the same. We're both picking Rochester over Halifax. We're both picking the boys over the Wings. We are both picking the Seals over the Dogs, and we're both picking the Wings second game against the Warriors. However, what will decide our fate this week, I've got Warriors, he's got Black Bears. I've got the Rock to win their first game, he's got the Rush to win that game and keep it going. I've got the Firewolves to win the rematch. Producer Joe's got the Mammoth. And I've got the Roughnecks because the Lee's got parity. Producer Joe has got the Swarm in Calgary. And now it is time to put our money where our picking mouth is with our best bets for this weekend. Hopefully this goes away as always. We were 1-7 last week. So as much as we say thank you for watching and supporting the show, we also lost you money last week. It's not fair. Okay, I'm now 10-10. Producer Joe's now 10-9. I've got Rochester Halifax over 25.5. I still think that's too low after last week's outburst. I've got the Bandits to cover against the Wings. That's plus money on FanDuel, by the way, to cover the 2.5. And I've got the Seals to cover against the Desert Dogs. Sorry, no Joe Tsai this week. I need to stop saying that or else I'm going to be in trouble. Producer Joe is now 10-9, but he's got 4 games. He's got the Rush Rock over 21.5. In the U.S., that can only be found on DraftKings. Everywhere else is 22.5. He's got the over 21.5, like I said. He's got Bandits money line and Swarm money line, and he's got the Seals to cover as well against the Dogs. So, what are your best bets and picks this week? Let us know in the comments below and on social media at Daily.LAX. Also, follow us on social media and all the stuff down below. If you're on Spotify, I'm sorry, I'm not going to name it for you. Just look it up and you'll see Daily.LAX and then see the rest of the socials. But we want to thank you once again for tuning in to this amazing, awesome show. We are grateful. Reminder, you're the bread, you're the butter, you are the what just happened. It's my 12-on sports show. That's a great show, by the way, every Thursday night. For our guests that have come on the last 2 weeks, we've had a boatload of them. And, of course, for Adam and Pat, as always, among others to come, thank you so much for sharing your audience and platform with us, giving us validity and relevance. For Bigo, who's always tapping it up on social media, and, of course, the baddest daddy in producing and picking history, Producer Joe, I'm your host, Mike. So you have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday, same time, same place, 12 on Sports. The Ravens will win. And thank you so much for watching. This has been Daily Dive.
Thanks for watching Daily Dive. See you next time.